I am the commander of Friendly Valley Veterans Club. Friendly Valley, for those that don't know, is a retirement community here in Santa Clarita. I've got probably 100, maybe a little over 100 members in our club, and I do a Memorial Day parade and I do a Memorial Day service in our auditorium to about 300 to 400 people in the auditorium. And I had heard of a traveling Vietnam wall that was based in Lancaster, and I thought, wow, what a great idea. I'll contact them. I will see what it takes to get the wall here. I will go pick it up. I will tow it up the freeway and we'll have it in our Memorial Day parade. Now this was April of 2012. Okay. So I called them up and told them what I wanted to do, and they said, first thing they said was, first of all, you have to advance this, you have to reserve this wall 6 months in advance. I said, okay, fine, I'll do it for 2013. Yeah. And he says, by the way, he says, do you know that the wall that we have is 200 feet long? I said, 200 feet long, because I thought it was the size of a parade float, you know, that you would see in the Rose Parade. Yeah. So obviously, I'm not going to be able to tow 200 feet up the freeway. Yeah. So I started thinking, I wanted to do something. I am a Korean veteran. I'm not a Vietnam veteran, but I wanted to do something. I had this idea of getting this wall to honor the families of the Vietnam veterans that lost their lives in a war that was a very unpopular war, and a war that these guys, when they came back, the ones that did come back, were treated so horribly. It was appalling. And I wanted to do something for them. So I said, let me tell you this. I said, there really and truly are three reasons that I wanted to bring this wall here. The first reason was I wanted to do this for the people that could not afford or cannot afford to go to Washington, D.C. to see the real wall. They can come here from wherever, Southern California, wherever they can come here and they can see the wall. The second reason I wanted to do it was I wanted people to see what an unbelievable city Santa Clarita really is. Because we're going to have thousands of people from outside of our city that are going to be coming here. And the third reason was I wanted to do it in September, during school. I wanted kids in school to be able to come to see this monument of a war that they know nothing about, and people on that wall that had made sacrifices for them so they can have now their iPads and their cell phones and who knows what else.
Welcome up Gail Roan to sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Okay. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
I want to make a quick comment about dreaming big. See, Chuck Morris, 1 year ago, saw this wall at another location, and he dreamed big about bringing it to our city. So he called Mayor Keller and said, Mayor Keller, I have a dream to bring this wall to the city. And Mayor Keller bought into that big dream of bringing this into town. He then went to Carl and Jerry Goldman and says, I have this dream. How do you help me realize this big dream of mine? And Carl and Jerry and Chuck sit down and strategize it and said, let's bring the kids involved. Let's do a competition with the kids. In fact, let's get Westfield to help us out and give us this great property, which they did. Thank you, Raj. Thank you. And then let's have a ceremony every night to honor these 58,230 soldiers. And that dream continued to build and build and build, because we have to dream big, because we're Americans. And that's what we do. And that's what we do. See, when you look at that wall, there's 58,230 dreams not fulfilled, that we're able to fulfill and come back for that dream. Come back to that sweetheart that they wanted to marry. Come back and get that car, whatever it is, the Chevy or the Ford or whatever it was back at that time. Come back and see their children be raised. Their dreams were not fulfilled. See, Walt Disney once said that all dreams can come true if you have the courage to fulfill those dreams. So I ask everybody that's here, what dreams do you have that are not fulfilled? And know that 58,230 Americans gave their lives so you can fulfill your dream. Whatever that dream is. If you're young and you want to go to school, go back to school. If you're middle-aged and you want to change your job, be an example to your children. If you're just getting ready to retire and you want to do something exciting and different, live that dream and have the courage to live that dream. Because all 58,230 individuals had the courage to defend our freedom, so you can live your dream. Go live your dream. I'd like to welcome up our Assemblyman Scott Wilk. California Assemblyman, Republican member Scott Wilk represents the 38th District, which encompasses the Simi Valley, part of San Fernando Valley, Castaic, Alco Dulce, Val Verde, and most of the Santa Clarita Valley. Recognized for his strong leadership, Scott's been appointed the Speaker of the Assembly to the Vice Chair of the Assembly Rules Committee. Scott is no stranger to volunteering in our valley. Scott just finished a tenure for the college at Santa Clarita Valley Community College Board of Trustees, and also a 4-year stint as a board of director for the Henry Mayle New Home Memorial Foundation, and served as a legislative committee for the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce. Scott and Vanessa, his beautiful wife Vanessa, reside here in the Santa Clarita Valley, been married for the past 7 years, and have 2 adult children, Scott Jr. and Allison Grace. Please help me to welcome Assemblyman Scott Welk.
Good afternoon. You know, America's more than a place, it's an ideal. And the sacrifices that our fighting men and women has made it possible for us to raise our families, to worship in the house of worship that we choose, and to pursue happiness as envisioned by our founding fathers. So it's an honor for me to be here today to play a part in this memorable ceremony to pay tribute to our Vietnam veterans and our fallen heroes. Having this wall come to Santa Clarita has been an incredible experience, and having the opportunity to read off the 58,235 names will give our community a chance to come together and remember the great service and sacrifice of these remarkable men and women. This breathtaking wall, and I've been to Washington, D.C. a couple times, and it's one of the most moving experiences, but seeing this today, it exceeded my expectations, so I'm very excited about that. But it gives us a chance to reflect and honor those who have fought and those we've lost. And I'm so glad that Fred Arnold mentioned the 14 chairs down below, because they were somebody's son, brother, and father. So while we mourn their loss, we also should take time to pray for their families as well. You know, and unfortunately, when our Vietnam veterans came back to America and returned home, they were not always treated kindly. And I hope we don't make the same mistake from those veterans returning from Iraq and from Afghanistan. This year in the State Assembly, we passed legislation to improve the lives of veterans for providing greater access to higher education, housing for homeless vets, and increased assistance for disabled vets. And I'm personally pleased that earlier this year I was able to name Santa Clarita resident and Vietnam veteran R.J. Kelly as Veteran of the Year for the 38th Assembly District. R.J.'s here somewhere, I promise. Anyway, I think we all know that veterans have a strong presence in the Santa Clarita Valley, and I cannot thank them enough for their service and continual efforts to help other veterans in need. So to all those who volunteered to help bring this historical event to Santa Clarita deserve thanks. And then I too want to do a special shout out to Chuck Morris. Mr. Morris played a key role. You can clap for that. Chuck played a key role in orchestrating bringing the traveling Vietnam Memorial Wall to Santa Clarita. And this historical event would not have been possible without Chuck's leadership. You know, President John F. Kennedy once said that it's an unfortunate fact that we can only secure peace by preparing for war. And that, in fact, is true. So I want to thank all who made today possible. I want to thank all those who were involved. And may God bless you, our veterans, and the United States of America. Thank you very much.
This time I'd like to welcome up Mayor Bob Keller. Bob Keller joined the City of Santa Clarita as a council member in 2000 and served as mayor in 2004, 2008, and is currently the mayor of the City of Santa Clarita. Bob Mayor's service began much long ago. In 1965 to 1967, he served in the United States Army. Then he joined community by being an officer with the LAPD for 25 years. He then retired to Santa Clarita Valley, where he's run Keller Davis Real Estate since then. Bob is no stranger to our community. He's no stranger to veterans. He's no stranger to all those that love the City of Santa Clarita. Please help me to welcome Mayor Bob Keller.
Well, it's an honor, ladies and gentlemen. I mean it sincerely. To be the mayor of this city is just, I tell you, thank you. And I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart. A couple of recognitions, if I may. I see we have my fellow council member, Marcia McLean, is with us. Marcia, please stand. I believe Kim Ben Boyce is out there somewhere. Where are you, Kim? Kim Ben? He's here also. Our city manager, Ken Striplin, right over here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. And another gentleman we have the privilege of having with us, and that's Chief Field Deputy for Congressman Buck McKeon, Mr. Morris Thomas. Please stand up, Morris. Thank you. I know there's others out there. I apologize if I've missed somebody. What do you say we give a big round of applause to the LA County Fire Department for coming out? I went into the Army in June 1965. My first plane ride was on Uncle Sam. I was just 21, and this Southern California boy found Fort Polk, Louisiana to be on another planet with the humidity. I completed basic and was then sent to Fort Ord, California to become an 81 millimeter mortar man. From there, it was to Fort Benning, Georgia for paratrooper school. Now that training was a real slice of heaven, I'll tell you. By early December, I found myself at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, starting my training for the Army's Special Forces. There are so many stories by our service members over the years, and I have one I would like to share with you also. I'm going to tell you about a sergeant, Ken Gorman. To be in Special Forces, you had to be at least 21. Most of us were 21 to 25 years old. Therefore, who was the old guy with the graying temples in our training unit? He seemed to fit in well, but then again, he was old. I later found out he was 33. Over the next few weeks, I got to know Ken more, and on a Saturday afternoon, we decided to go to the PX and have a couple of beers. Does anybody in this gathering remember Colt 45 beer? Ken and I were on our second beer when I asked him how it was that he was in this outfit at his age. He said, "Buy me another beer and I'll tell you." The beer was immediately forthcoming. He then began his story of how he was in the Army and fought in Korea. He was a Browning automatic rifleman and saw his share of action. He then described a particular firefight he was in where two other soldiers were in a foxhole with him. He said what occurred next he has had to live with ever since. He said his BAR jammed and he was not able to clear it, and during that time the two guys with him were killed. Ken went on to say when he finished his tour in Korea, he got out of the Army. He moved to San Diego, California, and opened an insurance company. He did well and was soon driving a Cadillac. However, he never forgot what happened in Korea and his jammed BAR. When things started heating up in South Vietnam, he made the decision to sell his insurance business and his Cadillac. He then re-upped into the Army. Like you, he said, I went through basic and airborne training and am now in Special Forces training, getting ready to go to Vietnam. When we finished our training, we were assigned to D Company of the 7th Special Forces at Fort Bragg. Ken wasted no time putting in a transfer to the 5th Special Forces in Vietnam. We stayed in touch over the years by mail. In one letter, he described how he was on patrol one day when they came upon a dead American soldier. The soldier was Paul Severson. We all trained together at Fort Bragg. Paul had been captured, tortured, and killed by his captors. Paul Severson is on panel 46W, line 22. Ken would ultimately serve 3 tours in Nam. He visited me in the San Fernando Valley when he got out of the Army for the second time in his life in 1969. During that visit, he told me how during his second year in Vietnam, having come back from another patrol, he decided to pick up a Bible instead of a beer. He read the Bible every day. Ken was now on his way to become an associate pastor at a church in Arizona. Ken's story is like so many of our military members, filled with much heartache and too many bad memories. However, were it not for our brave service members, we would not be standing here and collected together tonight. God bless Ken Gorman. God bless all of you, and God bless America.
Now when those in the military come back, they come back to great fanfare. They come back to so many that loved ones walking on back. They come back to sometime parades and parties and so much. But all those that went to Vietnam did not come back to that. I'd like to ask one more time, everybody in Vietnam, please, they went to Vietnam, please stand up and let's welcome them back one more time. I'd like to welcome up a Vietnam veteran, Bill Reynolds.
The battle finally ended. And when it was over, there were 250 Viet Cong fighters laying all over that rice paddy and in the rivers. They were laying everywhere dead. But we lost 47 guys that day, and just countless more wounded. Alpha Company suffered 31 losses. Only 12 out of the whole company walked away unscathed. My company lost 11, and Bravo lost 5. And as Fred mentioned, our exploits are documented in The Boys of 67. It's a fine book written by Dr. Andrew Wiest, a history professor out of the University of Southern Mississippi. This book was released last September, and within 2 months, National Geographic decided to do a documentary, which is due out in March. It's called The Brothers in War. So if you're interested, stay tuned. We never forget our fallen, and to honor our June 19th hero, I would like now to read those 47 names. If you will bear with me. Dennis Adamski, age 20. Lieutenant Robert Aguado, 25. Lieutenant Fred Bertolino, 23. Dennis Brown, 20. Jack E. Cousins, 20. Robert Craythorne, 20. Alan Engel, 20. Wayne Fielden, 24. Paul Good, 19. Thomas Gordon, 21. Monty Harbour from Palmdale, 20. David Henry, 19. Charles Hildebrand, 20. John R. Hill, Van Nuys, 21. James Hinch, 22. John Lee from La Crescenta, 21. Richard Lundy, 20. Bobby Wayne Price, 20. David Rain, 20. George Randolph, 44. Daniel J. Sandstead, 21. Lloyd A. Sellers III, 21. William Schaefer, 20. James B. Smith, 24. Clyde Stevens, 25. Edward Stevens, 20. John St. Peters, 19. Jackie Weatherly, 20. Noel West, 26. Robert Wright, 23. Lieutenant Philip Zummollen, 24. That was Alpha Company. Charlie Company. Robert Cara, Philadelphia, age 21. Hubert Fink, 22. Kenneth Frakes, Lancaster, 21. William Geyer, 21. Robert Gendra, 21. Timothy Johnson from Lancaster, 20. Forrest Ramos, 20. Cameron Rice, 21. David Robin, 20. Lieutenant Sheldon Schulman, 24. John Winters, 22. George Miller, 20. Eddie Moten, 20. Merrill Sudemeyer, 19. Joseph Martin, 21. Ronald Saez, 20. Those 47 brave troopers on one day. 3 weeks after that battle, we got into it again, and we lost 4 soldiers from my platoon. Phil Farrell, Sergeant Smith, Harold King, Butch Akins, and our 3rd platoon lost Fred Kenny. May God bless their souls. Thank you.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountain to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America. God bless America. God bless America. My home sweet home. Thank you. Thank you, veterans.
This has been a powerful couple of days. I sat in the audience last night as we did the opening ceremonies, and it went beyond any set of expectations I had, and I think everyone that was here yesterday, I think there were about 3,000 people throughout the day who came through here yesterday. All of them were moved in a way that I can't even begin to describe. My dad was 91 years old when he died 5 years ago on his birthday. He was a soldier in World War II, did the African campaign in the army, was in Italy as they were driving the Germans out. He was in a foxhole, and some mortar came in. He jumped on top of his buddy to cover him up, protect him. Mortar exploded in their foxhole. My dad's buddy's head blew off. My dad's back blew up. And he never talked about the war. All those years. Until our oldest son, Ryan, who was in 8th grade out here at La Mesa when 9/11 hit, Ryan decided he was going to join the ROTC. My wife Jerry said, well, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to take the public transportation across town every day and show that you're committed. We lived over in Sand Canyon, and the only ROTC program was with Ed Colley, who was here yesterday, Captain Colley. Ryan would get on that bus. I'd drive him over to Vaughn's every morning at 6 a.m. Then he'd call me about 6:30 in the evening to be picked up. And he did that for close to a year. And we realized he wanted to go to West Point. And that's when my wife Jerry decided she was going to become Ms. ROTC Mom, for those who know Jerry. Ryan went to West Point. Right now, he is in Afghanistan as a lieutenant. And this summer, he was sent up near the Pakistan border, the 120 men, within 4 or 5 weeks. 6 of them lost their lives. That's just a few weeks ago. And so this is still happening. It's still going on. And I really pray that as our boys, our men and women come home from Afghanistan and those from Iraq, they come home to a different country than all of the soldiers we see listed here on the wall, those who sacrificed so much and then came home to a very different America. And this wall, to me yesterday, this wall's part of the healing process. And seeing all of you here today, that's part of the healing process. I stood by the wall and talked to Jim Ventris of the Boys and Girls Club, who had served in Vietnam. There were a couple of other buddies of his over there from Vietnam. They had tears in their eyes, and Jim started relaying how when he came back, he got off the plane and someone spit on him. And I started asking others and found that this was the America that they came home to. And so, as I stand here today, it just makes me realize how far we've come and how much more healing we really need to do. But the important thing right now is that the healing process has really not just begun, but it continues and goes on and on and on. And may we never forget everyone who made sacrifices that go beyond anything I could possibly imagine myself. This evening we have a lot of dignitaries here. I see our supervisor, Michael Antonovich, has come by to pay tribute, and we'll be hearing from him in a couple of minutes. I just want to acknowledge our mayor, Bob Keller, if we can give a hand. And people are coming up thanking me for doing this and saying, oh, what an incredible job you did. I did not do anything. I just was handed the notes, said go up and speak, and that's been it. But Jerry and Chuck have worked unbelievably hard on this over the many, many months. When Chuck first had this idea, came to Jerry and then the two of them made incredible miracles happen. I'd also like to acknowledge Bill Schwartz, who also was part of the that trio that really did an incredible job. So let's give them a hand. One of the projects that we got involved with is a project with Habitat for Humanity, and it's going to be 87 homes here for veterans that are being built in Center Point. By this time next year, the first of those homes will be ready, and the vets will be handed keys to their home along with a whole array of services. When we started on this journey, this is something Jerry and I were approached about 2.5 years ago by the gas company. Mike Mizrahi was serving on the board of Habitat, and they approached us with the idea of doing a project up here in Santa Clarita, and would we become active with it? And Jerry and I said yes within 10 seconds, and created an advisory board, and in a short period of time refurbished homes, created a full collection of all the veteran stakeholders involved here in Santa Clarita, and we're about to see the first of its kind in the country. Nothing like this has been done before, so keep your eyes on it, and that's going to be the Habitat project that will be over in Center Point.
For the past 4 days, we've seen the wall behind me visited by thousands, if not maybe even tens of thousands, many of whom are youth that we set out to have an impact on. I was talking to Chuck on Friday morning, and he told me that on Thursday, he watched and listened as a young boy, maybe 9 or 10 years old, held his mother's hand, walked her up to the wall, and explained to her what this wall meant and what every name on that wall meant. So Chuck, congratulations. I'd say mission accomplished.
For purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plains, America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
We did have an essay contest through the library system in Santa Clarita. And the essay that we decided that we wanted to know these children could write about was titled, "What Did the Vietnam War Mean to the United States of America?" And of course, the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders that were involved in this essay contest had no idea what anybody was even talking about, but they did research. And they researched, and we found what we felt were the top essays from this group of 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. The winner of our contest is Andrea Chor. And Andrea, if you would like to come up and read your essay, we would love to have it.
The Vietnam War by Andrea Chor. I first heard about this essay when my dad showed it to me and asked me if I want to try. I said yes because if I won, I could win money for our school. I would buy an iPad and DVD player. At the beginning, I didn't know a lot about the Vietnam War, but I didn't know I want to learn more about it. So I decided to read some books about the Vietnam War, and I learned a lot. The first thing I learned was that democracy means equality of rights, opportunity, and treatment, and that communism means all the people telling others what to do. The second thing I learned was that the Vietnam War was important to us because the troops fought for democracy and we wanted to keep our freedom. Another is that it is important to help people even if it means putting yourself at risk. Finally, I've learned how we lost the Vietnam War, but we still avoid communism. This was important to America because we don't like when people make us do what they want us to do. First, I tell you why it was important that the troops fought for democracy in the Vietnam War. America has a government called democracy that lets people vote and be free. In Vietnam, the North was trying to make the South communist. When a country is communist, then the people are told what to do and are not free. The United States liked being free and wanted to help South Vietnam be free too. To help South Vietnam, America sent them money and troops. At first, South Vietnam didn't stand a chance, but with America's help, they had hope. Another reason that the Vietnam War is important to America is because the United States helped the people from Vietnam, and it is important to help other people. A lot of Americans didn't like that we were helping Vietnam because we were giving them our own money and our American soldiers, we were dying in the war. Even though some bad things were happening to the American people, we knew that the Vietnamese need us by the side, so we helped them. Anyway, this taught me that it is always important to help others no matter what. Finally, I learned that the war was important because even though South Vietnam lost, we still avoid communism. After 10 years in Vietnam, more than 58,000 American soldiers had died and more than 153,000 had gone really hurt. This is when Americans decided that it was time for them to leave. On April 30, 1975, the North finally took over the South, but this was okay because the United States never became communist. In conclusion, the Vietnam War was important to America because we helped South Vietnam. We lost a lot of soldiers and the United States never became communist. Since I decided to do this essay, I learned that it is always important to help others in need. In honor of all the American soldiers that lost their lives in Vietnam, they have a special wall with the names on it. I think it's good that we're free and it makes me happy.
I want to thank you very much for being here, and I want you to know that this journey for a year and a half has finally culminated with what we have here. And the thing about this wall for me today is to seeing families with their young children and their parents telling these young children what is on that wall. That wall is not a wall of names. That wall is a wall that has 58,238 people that are on that wall. They are not names, they are people. And I am blessed to have this wall here for everyone to enjoy. And I want to thank so many people. There are so many people that are involved in this community, that are involved in this event, and it would take me forever to thank everybody. But the one person that I want to thank the most is my wife. She has been so supportive through this year and a half, and I am so blessed to have her by my side. And I want to thank everybody again
for being here.
Thank you.
Chuck, I know that you did this for us and not for yourself, but the fact of the matter is, 18 months ago, you had a vision, and through your leadership and dogged determination, you were able to pull this off along with your team. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to salute you for your great efforts in making this happen by presenting you an official California State Assembly resolution in honor of you and this weekend. Congratulations.
Ready? Hey! 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 Hey!